What happened on the 21st, Saturday the 21st of May in 1892 was the relatively newly formed football club, local football club, it had only been formed 4 years earlier, sailed to Mordialloc to play a game against the Mordi Bloods, and that game resulted in a draw. And then the team set sail from Mordialloc Creek for Mornington, relatively short sail, with the conditions of the day that particular evening actually. It should have been no more than a 2-hour sail, but the boat was called the Process, never arrived. It met with tragedy somewhere in the bay. Its exact location remains unknown. There is a couple of lines of speculation about maybe where that was, and various pieces of information have come to light about it. But all 15 young men aboard that boat, the youngest was 14 years old, who's the son of the owner of the boat, Charles Hooper, originally from Geelong, a fisherman. All of those young men lost their lives. As I said, the youngest was 14 and the oldest was 38 years old. Now, it was a huge tragedy. It would be a huge tragedy for any community at any point in history, but particularly for a fledgling community, Mornington was a very young town in those days. The boat foundered just near Davies Bay, Pelican Point. There's a little reef off there called Woolly Reef. And it was found the following day. And when it was found, there was one body of the 15 young men was found under the gunwale. That was 19-year-old Alfred Lawrence, I think. And then over the coming days, weeks, only 2 other bodies were found, so a total of 3 bodies were found. So the remaining men, young men, their bodies were never retrieved, and continues to inhabit this space of mystery. So there's an enormous amount of profound sadness attached to this disaster, but there's also a sense of mystery, and mystery is sometimes what informs myth, and in many ways this is not a mythological event because we know it happened, and we know how devastating it was, but the way it inhabits contemporary Mornington culture and has since the event is almost the way that a myth is applied to a place or something. The project that I'm making it will centres on the tragedy, but it will not tell the story in a narrative sense. It will give people the sense of the history of the event through a series of associated works. One of the opportunities that I'm deeply immersed in at the moment is together with the Mornington Peninsula Regional Gallery and myself, we made an application to Museums and Galleries New South Wales, and were successful in receiving an artist's residency grant, which has enabled me to be here down in Portsea, and quite apart from the on-water research that I'm doing, filming, photographing daily from the surface of the water and also below the surface of the water with a series of different GoPros and different cameras, is that I'm spending a lot of time on the internet also exploring another aspect of this story, which is a critical aspect of the story, and the research that I'm doing will lead to the creation of one of the 3 works that I'm going to make. Having the opportunity to spend 2 4-week blocks, 4 weeks in the early research stages of the project, and then a good 10 months later, another 4 weeks when the project's more evolved, down at the Police Point Residency in Sorrento. It's fantastic for a number of reasons. To be right at the water's edge, surrounded by the light that is so peculiar to this part of the bay, given the fact that there's sea either side so close. So it's a really particular set of conditions, in all conditions. The light's incredible. The residency also provides a number of opportunities for me to extend the possibility of being immersed in this environment with everybody that will and is already working on the project. A really sensitive understanding of place, which I think is important to this work.